but I think it is time, at least according to my clock. So lovely to see all of you. Always a joy to share this Thursday morning. So we are continuing today our journey into working with opening our heart space. We started that journey last week. I think all of you were here last week. And so that is what we will continue to do. And of course, there will be lots of movements that will continue to carry forth our theme from the prior month, which was moving lymphatic fluid and supporting our immunity. By now, you know, everything builds on everything else. So, but for today, our primary focus will be to open the heart. And what this means is kind of twofold, or really multifold. But physically what it means is opening the heart space in the sense of bringing some resilience back into tissues that may have been subjected to surgery, where there may be scars, where there may have been radiation, there may be still impacts from radiation. We will, through working with the heart space, also will be working with our shoulder girdle and our neck. And that means there may be some range of motion issues for some of you. And I just want to repeat, right, that you are always your own best inner teacher. Everything I say and offer is just that. It is an offering. It's never a directive. So if I show something that's outside of your range of motion, please feel free to make sure that what you do is appropriate for your physical experience. So that's one part of working with opening the heart space. The other part is that when we open our heart, when we soften our heart, when we smile with our heart, we create strength in other places in the body to continue to support ourselves. And those other places are along the back, sort of just the opposite side of the places that we open and help become more resilient. We strengthen. So there's strengthening in the back body, but there's also a steady engagement of all of the core muscles, the muscles that wrap kind of your torso, the muscles of the pelvic floor that will draw up and in. That strengthening is there. And as you know, I like to say, yoga makes us soft on the outside. We become very open, and it makes us strong on the inside. And so this month, I think, is a particularly good example of that way of practicing. And of course, the body is only one place where we open the heart space. We also, when we open the heart space, support free breathing, natural breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, breathing through the nose. We really also soften into our vitality. If we're kind of depleted, we tend to nourish ourselves more and focus more on the sweetness of the practice, the kindness, the gentleness. If we feel kind of agitated, then we can lean into the softer side of the practice and to calm the nervous system. If we feel a little tired, but we kind of feel like, there could be a bit more energy, then we can infuse a little bit more effort. So it's always about knowing where you're starting energetically and then helping yourself find a nice balance that can support you through the course of the day. And then we also open the heart in the sense of we open our mind. We become more kind and accepting with our thoughts, with our feelings, and we stay gentle even in our mind. So it's a lot about cultivating goodwill. It's a lot about becoming more forgiving. It's a lot about cultivating kindness, and that's part of our theme today of opening the heart space, is to cultivate what in yoga we call loving kindness, which is a very complex sort of notion of being kind and gentle, of being helpful to ourselves and others, forgiving, free of judgment, free of hatred. It can show up in so many different ways. And so you'll hear me cue that throughout today as we open our heart in all of these different ways. So So welcome to everyone, and I invite you now to settle yourself into place for your opening centering. So as always, you can either sit on a chair, you can sit on the ground, you could lie down on your back, but whatever you choose a shape that allows you to stay open-hearted. And so wherever you are, really have that sense of, the heart space is open. And that may mean that you need some supports, right? Like my heart space can't be as open when I sit on the ground as when I sit on a lift. Like a block or a cushion or a pillow or whatever, a blanket. And so really, as you settle yourself in, ponder that. Ponder how you would like to support yourself with what you have in your environment to keep the heart space open. And then, as always, make discerning choices about how you'd like to place your eyes and your hands. Perhaps tuning into that notion of how can I be loving and kind to myself in this moment with my choices. And always knowing that if you need to make a change because what you chose does not turn out to be auspicious, you can always do so. Simply do so with loving awareness. Make your shift and then come back. And gently, lovingly begin to settle yourself into your body, meeting whatever sensations are present in this moment. For most of us, there will be some sensations that are pleasant and welcome, some that are perhaps a bit more challenging or difficult, and some that we overlook because they're kind of neutral, and some that maybe are a bit confusing. Can you allow yourself to meet all sensations with an open heart? With a heart that meets what is present lovingly, kindly, gently. And holding your body in this very loving awareness. Also begin to tune into how your breath, how your vitality is showing up for you this morning. Are you feeling a bit depleted or tired? Are you feeling calm and settled, but nurtured and present? Or is there a bit of agitation? Can you meet whatever energy you're bringing with you this morning with loving kindness? Being gentle with yourself, being gentle with your breath. Bringing a lot of goodwill to how you're drawing air in and releasing air out. Breathing softly and gently. With a heart that is open to all that emerges in this layer of experience. And holding body and vitality in loving awareness, gently attuned to what you're bringing with you in your mind this morning. What are the stories, the thoughts, the preoccupations, the worries, the plans that you're pondering this morning? Are there particular feelings that are in the forefront of your mind? As your mind going 100 miles a minute, or is it a bit sluggish? And can you bring to bear that same love, that same kindness, that same gentleness in how you meet whatever is present in your mind space? Having a soft heart, a forgiving heart, a heart free of judgment, as you take in whatever is present in terms of thoughts and feelings. And holding body, vitality, and mind in your loving awareness, draw your attention to this miracle of observation, this capacity you have as a human being to watch yourself, to observe, to witness, to be fully aware of what is happening in body, breath, and mind. Tuning into your own deeper inner wisdom, your deeper intelligence that is always loving, that is always compassionate, that is always equanimous and even joyful, even when we're not aware of it. Those seeds of these mature emotions, as we call them in yoga, are always within us. The joy, the love, the compassion, the equanimity. And whether you are in touch with them right now or not, knowing that they're there, or even feeling some of them, if it suits you, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart as you bow your head to your heart. To notice if an intention emerges for you today, for your time on the mat. This guiding light, this guiding quality that supports you through your practice. It may be a word, it may be a phrase, it may be a felt sense or a symbol. Whatever it might be for you, even if it's just an open space that is ready to receive an intention that's not yet there. You might choose your next inhalation to draw that intention into your heart, into the entirety of your being. And you might choose to use your next exhalation to silently send that intention outward into your greater web of life. And whenever you feel ready to do so, you could lower your hands if they were lifted. You could open your eyes if they were closed. You could rise to a seat if you are lying down. And you can lift your gaze if it was lowered. And welcome, everyone. I invite you to begin a little bit of movement by inhaling and allowing the arms to travel up and overhead. And as you do so, just notice how you're moving naturally in this moment. When you move your arms without yet really thinking about sort of changing anything, how are your arms moving up and down? Are you curling forward, or are you opening the heart? One is not better than the other. This is just an observation. It's not a judgment. And can you lovingly just watch your arms rising with the inhalation and lowering with the exhalation? And the next time you exhale and the arms lower, just come to shoulder height. Turn the palms up for a moment. That means you're kind of rolling your upper arm bones outward externally. And then as you inhale, open the arms a little bit wider. They might draw behind you if that's accessible. And as you exhale, simply return them to their starting position, or maybe slightly forward, whatever feels better to you. If you need to take a break because this lifting the arms can be quite heavy, you can always bring the arms to your side, take a couple rounds of breath, and then start again, inhaling, drawing the arms back more, exhaling, coming back to neutral or even slightly forward. So you decide how this unfolds for you with the breath. It's a very subtle movement. Inhaling, the arms might reach behind you. Exhaling, the arms may come to the shoulders, or maybe you begin to curl a little bit to actually really begin to mobilize the spine. Inhaling and exaggerating that extension, that opening of the heart, and then exhaling and drawing in, or drawing the arms forward a little bit more, letting the back curl. And play with your range of motion here, right? There is no right or wrong. There is just the absolutely loving and kindest way for you to do that. If at some point on the coming forward, you want to give yourself a hug, please do that. We should all have hugs all day long, and we can give them to ourselves. And flow from here in whatever way feels right for you. Maybe the cross of the arms for that hug changes with each time. Sometimes the right comes up, sometimes the left comes on top. And just flow a few more times. And really think about, embrace this idea that you are giving yourself, your body and your breath and your mind, a moment of conscious care and love and kindness. Love can be a tough one. Love can be a really hard emotion. But kindness is much more accessible. So can you just kindly give yourself a hug here? We'll do that a couple more rounds. And of course, you know, you can always take a break before then if you would like. And after your second round, whenever you're there, we'll all end up there at different rates because we have different rates of breath. You can simply rest your hands in your lap after you've given yourself one more hug. The gentleness of moving forward after a big heart opening is beautiful. It's part of that loving kindness. An open heart isn't always physically open. Sometimes it can be open by hugging something. And so one thing you could do if you would like to try it is to grab a pillow or a jacket or your imagination. And you could bring that along the length of your body like this. And give yourself another hug, but this time it's a little bit lower in the body. I know this may seem kind of funky, but this is actually also a great lymphatic movement. We didn't do it last month, but it's a beautiful way of really beginning to feel how your breath moves. And part of opening the heart space is freeing the breath. And so you can very gently hug this pillow and feel how it moves forward and back with the breath. As you inhale, the breath expands your side waist and your front body, and you may feel that pillow just moving out just a little bit, sort of as evidence of breath, of life, vitality moving in. As you exhale, you might feel a gentle drawing inward as your arms and the pillow come a little bit closer to you. You don't have to force this, you don't have to make this happen. Just notice how the breath does this for you. And of course, if you are doing this without a pillow, you will feel your arms around you. And you could have them around the low ribs and the side waist. That's where you'll feel most of the movement. And your arms will have to be kind and gentle in how they allow that movement to emerge. If that feels awkward, you could bring the arms a little bit higher. You could come back into that hug. You could even bring the hands to the side waist and feel that beautiful pulsation right here. In the next step, if you have a pillow, I might have not been all that audible because of my mic. Now you're going to press the pillow into your belly, or you will take your hands and press them into the belly if you don't have a pillow or a jacket or just anything, right? That gives a little extra bulk. Even a blanket will work. And as you press now the pillow into the belly, you're giving a little bit of resistance to the expansiveness in the front body. And what you will notice is the miracle of your physiology and anatomy, which is that you will feel more movement in the back body. Your breath will now move into the back part of the lungs. This is a wonderful movement for your spine because there is a spot along the thoracic spine, the spine that holds your rib basket, that really only is moved very well by a back body breath. And so just let yourself feel, to the degree that is possible, how the breath is moving into the back body. Hugging a pillow or pressing the hands into the belly and drawing your loving attention to the back body to feel the expansiveness there. Along the spine, you might even feel a separating of the shoulder blades. Finish the round of breath you're on and take one more round. And then you can release the pillow, you can release the hands from your belly, whatever way or whichever way you used to find that breath in the back of the body. And if you didn't find it today, you'll find it some other day. It's all fine. All right. From here, you can stay seated if you would like, or you can join me and come to standing and find a wall. You can do this without a wall, but if you have a wall, it'll be really nice to feel the support of the wall. And you'll start by bringing your back body to the wall. And the beauty of the wall is that you can lean into it. If you don't have a wall, then just stand on your mat or sit on your chair. And with your next inhalation, let the left arm travel up and reach it toward the sky at the same time that you're reaching the right hand toward the earth. And you'll slightly bend to the right. The beauty of the wall is that you can try to keep as much contact of the back body with the wall as possible. In the center of the room, you have to keep yourself honest just through proprioception, the sense of where your body is in space. At the wall, you can press the back body into the wall. So even though you're lifting the left arm up, see if the left shoulder blade can stay in touch with the wall. And if it can't, that's fine. It can separate from it. But the effort is toward the wall. If the result is not important, it's the movement toward the wall, not the actual contact with it. And that's why you can also do this in the middle of the room. You can just make an effort toward the back part of the body. With your next exhalation, you can come back to center. So the right shoulder and right arm will travel up, the left will travel down. And sense into the two sides of the body, lovingly, kindly. without any ill will about maybe some challenging sensations here. And then when you feel ready, you could switch sides, inhaling now the right arm up and overhead, the left arm, fingertips reaching toward the floor, the right fingertips reaching toward the sky to find a gentle side bend to the left. This time, keeping that notion of drawing the right arm, the right shoulder blade toward the back. So if you're at the wall, pressing them into the wall, keeping contact with the wall, and just notice how this keeps your heart very open. And how there is effort, how there is strength in your core and in your back body when you engage in this movement. That's the inner strength. And then whenever you are ready, waiting for an exhalation, you can release your right arm down. The left arm relaxes up, the left shoulder relaxes up. And breathe here for a moment. And maybe as you're breathing here, especially out at the wall, think about breathing into the wall. Feeling that expansiveness, you could even give yourself that same hug at the waistline to feel the breath moving into the back body. Mobilizing the spine. Encouraging the flow of lymph and synovial fluid. And then release the hands down and turn yourself to the side if you're working at the wall. If you're on your mat or on the chair, you would also turn to the side, just easier for your mind to think of it that way. So if you're on the chair, the back of the chair would now be to your side, and then stretch your arms out ahead of you. Your feet are in line with the wall right now, but they will pivot as we now open our heart space from here. And this time we'll do it by the arm that's against the wall will slide away. The arm that's away from the wall will slide across the body. Elbow will be bent in the beginning, and then the arm will open up. You'll notice your feet will have to pivot a little bit for that to happen. And you might feel both shoulder blades at the wall. You might not. The goal is the movement. And so here we move with the breath a few times. Inhaling to open and exhaling to come back to our starting point. So inhaling, sliding that outer arm across. And then exhaling in your own rhythm. If you're feeling a lot of tension in the shoulders, that sometimes happens if the shoulders are shrugged up. Release the shoulder girdle down. And try one more time. So finish the round you're on, and then take one more round. And that'll be our last one on this side. And then release the hands down, turn. Maybe the back is at the wall. Maybe you're just standing on the mat. If you're on the chair, you'll be seated again with the back of the chair behind you. And decide when you're ready for the other side. And whenever you are, turn around to the other side. Bring the arms out in front of you. And then same procedure on this side. As the roomward side slides open, the arm at the wall slides away. As you exhale, the two arms come back together. Your feet may pivot a little bit, they may be stationary. That just depends on your own anatomy and on how possible limitations or restrictions from surgery or scar tissue or fibrosis come to bear here. lovingly allowing yourself to open and close here without any expectation for a particular range of motion, but with a lot of kindness for yourself and a lot of appreciation, a lot of gratitude that you're here, even just trying this, much less doing this. And one last time. And when your last time is over, you can return yourself with the back to the wall, with the back to the back of the chair, or just simply standing at the center of your mat to take a moment to tune in to the reverberations of this movement through the heart space and through the entire torso. And then whenever you are ready to do so, come facing the wall. This time, this is really not something that will work too well in a chair, but there is a way to do it. You could sit in a chair and do the same movement with the arms that we will do at the wall. So you could slide your arms up and you could slide your arms back like this from a seat. If you're at the wall, here's what we'll do. You'll come pretty close to the wall. Your hands will start out at about shoulder distance, shoulder height to the wall. And then you'll slide your arms up and overhead as your breastbone, your sternum, the center of your chest moves toward the wall. It will not arrive at the wall. I just don't want you to reach with the nose, but instead reach with your heart. And then slide the hands back down. Few rounds of this. Sliding up with one cycle of the breath. Here you get to decide which works better for you, the inhale or the exhale, and then using the opposite cycle of the breath to return yourself back. See if you can do this with kindness and gentleness. So don't over effort here, but lead with the heart. So stay at the wall. I'm just showing this, right? Lead with this part of the heart space, right? This we call your sternum or your breastbone. So you lead with that instead of leading with the head, right? And you'll actually have more heart opening and softening. And again, honor your own range of motion here with appreciation for what you can do rather than ill will about what you cannot. Couple more times. If you would like, you can always take a break. And then just stand a moment and reflect on your open heart. Find the kindness there, the appreciation for what worked for you. And then turn back to the wall. And this time step far enough away that you can have the palms of the hands at the wall at shoulder height and stand upright by the wall. So not at a slant, but just standing right directly by the wall, palms at the wall at shoulder height. The hands will stay where they are this time, so the arms will not slide, but the motion of the body is the same in that you're bringing your breastbone toward the wall now between the hands. It will not necessarily touch the wall, maybe for some of you it will. And then you press the wall away with your hands to come back. And let yourself move toward the wall. The forearms will come to the wall or toward the wall. So will the chest. The head will kind of pull back away from the wall a bit and press away. We'll do this a few more times. This is a nice strength builder. It's a nice heart opener. And you'll feel your shoulder blades on your back moving toward each other as you come forward and apart and away from each other as you press the wall forcefully away from you. Finish the round you're on and then take one more. Kindly, gently accepting your own range of motion, the sensations, the breath that emerges for you here. And then be still for a moment. You could let your arms come to your side, maybe feel the flow, the pulsation of life that's moving through you after this effort. And then keep the distance the same as before. So if you stepped away from the wall, measure again so that you have a whole arm's length distance between your feet and the wall. And then let yourself come forward to the forearms. If you can, the elbow will be in line with the shoulders, but it could land somewhere else for you depending on your own range of motion. And then press the wall away. There will be no outward movement at all, but really press the wall away and feel how this might separate the shoulder blades on your back. You're pressing the wall away. So the forearms, the palms, they're pressing into the wall. And notice what's happening in the belly region, in the abdomen. You'll feel that strength kick in here that we talked about at the beginning of class. That is part of this cultivation of soft-heartedness, is strength on the inside. As you press the wall away here, you'll feel your legs engage. You could even draw your pelvic floor up. You'll feel the strength in the abdomen as the deep inner core muscles strongly engage here. You will feel more the harder you press into the wall, so you can be as soft and gentle here as you would like, or you can really give this your all for a moment and then soften to sense into your own strength. Whenever you need a break, take a break. And then, if you would like to try, bring your left elbow a little bit closer in. So it'll probably be in line with your left ear, somewhere in that neighborhood. And turn the right arm out and away from the wall. Then you'll bring the right arm back to the wall, and we'll do that turn one more time if you would like. You don't have to. You can just press the wall away again like we did the first time around. Left forearm pressing into the wall, right side opening up. Next time you return to the wall, switch sides. So now the left arm moves back to where it originally started. The right arm slides in a little bit. And then the left opens up. You might feel how the shoulder blades work here. And just do this 2 to 4 times, yogi's choice. You might have huge differences here side to side, depending on your own history here with treatment. It will be helpful to do both sides nevertheless, but really kindly and gently honor differences in range of motion or appropriateness of exertion or level of exertion. And then the next time you return to the wall, you have choices. You can simply lean into the wall for a moment and feel its support and let the breastbone come closer to the wall. Or you can add all of it together and press the forearms into the wall at the same time that you draw the breastbone, the sternum toward the wall, and draw the head back. That's a lot, and you don't have to do all of it at once. But play with any of those movements as it serves you. And let yourself sense into your own strength, your own capacity, all the while your heart continues to smile. And you continue to bring goodwill and love and gentleness into the mind. And when you have enjoyed as much of this as you can stand in the moment, you can press the forearms into the wall, let the shoulder blades separate, press the hands into the wall as the elbows move away from the wall, and then release the arms down, maybe one at a time, as you bring yourself around. And just tune in for a moment. If you would like to sit for a moment, you could. If you would like to be on the floor for a moment, you could. Or you could simply stand with hands at your heart, but give yourself a moment to tune in, to feel the reverberations of this kind-hearted effort. And maybe, just maybe, you will get that sense that open-heartedness is not being a softie, it's not being a doormat. Open-heartedness is strong. It comes from inner strength. Love is strong. Kindness always wins. Whenever you feel ready to continue on, you can rise back to standing, or you can stay seated on a chair. Grab a couple of blocks. So you can do this standing at the wall, you can do this seated in your chair, or you can do this standing just at your mat. The wall, again, is a nice sort of helpful proprioceptive cue, because your back body can make contact with the wall. If you're in a chair, scoot yourself all the way back to feel the back of the chair against your back, and you'll get the similar proprioceptive feedback. You're just not standing up. The palms, or the palms are up, right? They're supinated, just like we did last week, and then the blocks are on your palm, and it doesn't have to be a block. It could be a Tupperware bowl, it could be a book, it could be a magazine. It doesn't have to be heavy. As you might recall, the idea is to have the palm flat and not to wrap around the item, so that if you were to pivot your hand, the item would fall off, because we're trying to keep that palm facing up. Your arms are by your side, so the elbows are probably touching the outside of your pelvis. And then as you inhale, your arms travel out, or your hands travel out. And as you exhale, they'll travel in. And notice if you can maintain contact, if you're at the wall or on a chair, with the back against the wall or against the back of the chair. Can you do that little chin tuck here and drawing the head back that we practiced a lot when we worked with neck and shoulders? What this might mean at the wall is that you feel contact between the skull and the wall. Maybe. It's all dependent on your anatomy, but you're still moving in that direction. It's the movement toward the back that's important, not actually arriving in a particular place. As the hands continue to open out and in. And let yourself kindly observe what's happening here in the heart space and in your core muscles. Maybe drawing the pelvic floor up and in very deliberately with each exhalation. A little extra strength here. As you open and close, just 2 more times at your own breath rate. So your 2 times may be longer or shorter than mine. Doesn't matter. We'll get caught back up to one another. next time that you, or when your two are finished, if you have this in you, if there's enough vitality left, bring your arms out and just rest against the wall or the side of the chair, or but with the elbow continuing to keep contact with the side body, the upper arm making contact with the side body. So the arms are hugging in and the hands are out, and the motion of the forearms is toward the back. And feel what's happening here. If you can draw the low ribs toward the hips a little bit, you'll feel even more core engagement, and you will protect your back from becoming too hollow here. And whenever you are ready to be done with this, you can bring your blocks and hands forward, and you can release the blocks down. And yet again, either be at the wall or on a chair or in the center of the room standing, whatever you prefer. I will continue to show these things at the wall. This time we're going to take a Y shape with the arms. So with an inhalation, we'll draw the arms out to the side. If you're at the wall, maybe you feel contact with the wall all the way out. I'll scoot down a little bit. I don't want you to do this. You could, if you wanted to build strength in the low body, you could come into a wall chair, but I'm just showing it so you can see my arms. So don't be a hero. And make a Y shape with the arms. Give this some vitality though by sending energy through the arms all the way out through the fingertips, and really press the arms and the upper body either into the back of the chair or into the wall, or make that motion if you're standing in the center of the room. This is where a wall or a chair is really helpful, because you can feel that strong engagement of the back body into the wall. And see if you can soften your heart here. Can you smile? Can you be gentle in the midst of this? Heart opening is hard work. Being kind can be hard work. Remembering to keep an open heart can be a challenge. This is why we practice on the mat. Whenever you're ready to be done with this, you can release the arms to your side. And maybe it's time for a little wiggle and shake out before we move on. All right, and then we'll do this again. We'll build onto it, but we're going to start in that same Y position. So I'll come back into my wall squat again. There's no need for you to do this. I'm just doing it so that you can see what it might look like if you were seated on a chair, right? And that you can see my arms. Come back into the Y. And then draw the elbows down to make a W. And if you would like, you could stay here and sense into this for a while, or you can move with the breath, inhaling into the W, into the Y, and exhaling into the W. Moving with your own breath, keeping the heart open. Moving in your own range of motion, honoring what's present in your body. Finish the round you're on, and then the next time you are back in a W, hold it for one breath. And then with the exhalation, release the arms to your side. If you're at the wall, you can step away from the wall, and this time shake out everything, not just the arms, but also the legs. Maybe you do a little twist or dance or rotation, whatever feels good for you, just to shake off any tension that may have crept into the body through this heart opening work. I mean, it's work, right? We call it practice for a reason. We're readying ourselves for the hard work of our daily life. If you haven't done them yet, maybe a few shoulder circles, maybe kind of dynamic. And you might notice that the shoulder circles feel freeing and easeful in a way that maybe they wouldn't have had we done them at the beginning of class, which would have been a great idea because then we could have compared pre and post, right? And maybe tune into the joy that might emerge, or the gratitude for any minute change that you perceive in your heart space here. Of course, one movement that we did at the beginning that we could use to draw a parallel, and I'll do this here so you can see me, but you can stay standing, is that movement of bringing the arms out to the side and then inhaling to see where the arms might go. And then exhaling and letting them pulse back forward. And maybe, just maybe, you're sensing a different range of motion here. You have awakened the muscles in the back body, and so they might have more power right now to draw the shoulder blades onto the back, which opens the heart. And you might have brought enough life and nourishment into the fascia in the front body that your range of motion has changed. But no judgment if nothing changed for you. You still worked in a beautiful, open-hearted way. And those reverberations are there, even if they're not visible in a physical sense. And then at some point, let the arms come down. Maybe return to a few shoulder circles. And tune inward. Tune into your breath. If you would like, you could even bring those hands to the side waist, thumbs at the low ribs, little fingers at the hips, maybe sensing yet again that beautiful pulsation of life, the expansion of the inhalation, the gentle drawing in and releasing of the exhalation. The breath is such a beautiful, powerful tool to calm our nervous system. And when our nervous system is balanced and harmonious, it's much, much easier to find our kindness to ourselves, to others, to be helpful, to be grateful. All of these beautiful manifestations of what it means to be loving. If at some point you'd like to release the hands, if they're still lifted, this might be a good time to do so. If you would like to have some feedback from your body, maybe resting the hands at the heart for a moment. Moves you from just the imagination of noticing what's happening in the heart space to an actual feedback from your heart space as you feel your own heartbeat. And as you feel the reverberations still, also perhaps notice how things may or may not have shifted in your mind space. And then ponder how you would like to place your body for our closing meditation, our closing quietude, and move yourself to that shape, whether it's a seat on a chair, on the earth, or whether it's a lying down position on the earth or a bed. Choose something that allows you to really, truly let go and release any holding or gripping in your muscles. Gauge the temperature in your room to notice whether you need a blanket or a sweater. Be kind and deliberate in all the actions you take to settle your body, to settle your breath and your mind into this shape in which you will receive your closing centering. Whenever you have found your position and your props for now, your supports, draw inward yet again into your body, meeting sensations from the body as if you had never met them before. Noticing what is present now without expectation, without judgment, with an open, kind, helpful, gentle heart. Perhaps there's an expression of gratitude to your body that wants to emerge. Don't force it if there isn't. And then surrender your body to gravity, releasing any unnecessary holding or gripping. And gently check in with your breath, your vitality, with a beginner's mind, with an open heart. Notice your inhalations and exhalations. Perhaps there's an expression of gratitude that wants to arise for this intrepid breath that accompanies you throughout your lifetime. And then surrender the breath to breathe itself, to be moved by the life force, by prana that moves through all of us. To then gently check in with your mind, any sensations that arrive from here. Can you meet them with openness, without expectation, without judgment, without criticism? Just noticing what's here with kindness, with appreciation, with forgiveness. And then surrender your mind, your thoughts, your stories, your feelings to your own deeper inner wisdom that will return you to what needs returning to later. And from here, I invite you to move into about a minute of silence until my voice brings you back. And very, very gently, with loving kindness, reawaken your senses to your inner and outer world, taking in the sounds around you, the aroma in your room, the texture of your clothing, the air on your skin. Tuning in to any physical needs for little wiggles or stretches, or simply for more quietude. Checking in with your breath, knowing that you're inhaling as breath travels in, knowing that you're exhaling as breath travels out. If you are lying on the earth and you would like to close the practice in a seat, this is a great time to begin that transition. And as you are in a seat, if it feels suitable and auspicious, you might choose to place your hands to your heart as you bow your head to the heart. We will end the practice today with what in yoga we call a call and response. And how this works is that I will say a sentence, and then I'll leave an empty space during which you can silently repeat that sentence just as I said it to yourself. You don't have to if you don't want to. There'll be a total of 8 sentences. May I be loving. May I be kind. May I be gentle. May I be helpful. May all have love. May all experience kindness. May all be treated with gentleness. May all receive the help they need. If you would like, you could take a moment to notice if there's a takeaway from class for you today. Perhaps connecting that takeaway to blend with your intention, to create a dedication of merit for your time on the mat. If a dedication emerged for you, you can choose to use your next inhalation to draw that dedication into your own heart. And you might send that dedication silently outward into the greater web of life as you release your next breath out. As always, thank you so much for being part of this Thursday morning community.